What's up, guys? Hope you're having an incredible week, and I trust that as you continue to immerse yourself in the love of God, that He's doing great things in and through you. Today, what I want to talk about is what Jude talks about at the beginning of his letter. He at first says that he wanted to write to these people concerning their common salvation, the things that they had mutually experienced through Christ. But given the things that had crept into the church, and given the false teachers and the false prophecies, he was compelled to write to them something else. He wanted to give them something more, and was compelled to write differently and give them something different than he originally intended. And he goes on to say, after he says he wanted to write concerning their common salvation, he goes on to say that he now wants to urge them to contend for the faith that was once and for all delivered to the saints. He wants them to contend. He wants them to fight. He wants them to stand up and guard. As Timothy says, guard that good deposit that's been entrusted to you. And that's the same thing that Jude is telling us here. To contend for the faith, to fight for it, to guard it, to protect it, preserve it, that it might not be defiled by the darkness that surrounds this world, that it might not be perverted by false teachers and prophets and people who just want to use the word and the truth to do whatever they want to do. I think especially about colleges and the darkness that just pervades that culture, and the different lusts and sins that just permeate that entire environment. And college students are just on my heart, especially since I know some of you pretty well. And I want this for you. I want you to contend for the faith. I want this experience, these 4 years, regardless of what year you're in of those 4 years, I want these 4 years to be different for you than they are for so many people. College just grabs so many and pulls them out of faith, but I want this to bolster your faith. And I want you to be about something different. And I want you to live these 4 years differently. Because Jude is telling us to contend. And it's not just for college students, it's for all of us. It's for me, and it's for people at work, in careers. We're to contend for the faith, whatever we have. This world, and especially college culture, is going to throw a lot of different things your way to distract you, to influence you apart from Christ, to push you to the fruitless pleasures and youthful passions that this world just basks in and promotes. And I pray that that does not grip you. I pray that you would contend in your own life and in the lives of people for the gospel. There's nothing more important. There's nothing more important than preserving the truth that has changed your life. And so I'm excited. I'm excited for you if you press on to God and do these 4 years differently. I'm excited about what God's going to do through you. Because you're going to look different, and you're going to look set apart, just as you should look. And people are going to say, wow, what's that guy got? What's that girl got? What's different about them? Why do they live life the way that they do? And it's not contending for the gospel just out of obligation. It's not contending for the gospel just because you're appealed to do so. But it's doing it because you're compelled to, because the gospel has been so much to you, and the gospel has done so much for you, that your heart springs, that your heart yearns, that your heart is just naturally compelled to protect it. And so when people step in and try to pervert that truth, when people step in and try to alter it to fit their own agendas and to fit their own ideas and conceptions of what this life should be about, when people manipulate it so that they can justify whatever they want to do, and when people just don't understand, I hope that you step in and you would speak truth with grace and with love, but speak truth boldly and confidently, and contend for the gospel no matter the cost to you. No matter the cost of your reputation, regardless of the cost to your studies, regardless of the cost to your time, regardless of the cost to your life. I hope that you contend for the gospel. I gave one of my friends this video that will appear after this teaching last year, and I think it's applicable to college students and beyond. But I hope that it reveals some truth to you. I hope that you would take it and own the principles that are laid out in it, and I think it's just overwhelmingly appropriate for people at school, people at work, in careers, my own life, whatever phase of life you're in. I think it's appropriate, and I hope that you would watch it. I hope that it teaches you something, and that it would encourage you to go out and contend for the gospel and the faith that has changed your life.
My friends, I'm writing to let you know that whether you like it or not, you're in a war zone. There's an enemy seeking to destroy you, and his allies are always coming after you. Believe me when I say the battle requires everything you got. Mental fortitude, physical prowess, and above all else, a prayerful dependence on the King who has faithfully given you everything you need for the spiritual power, knowledge, and understanding it will take for you to prevail. I beg you to continually read His Word. His strategy is perfect, and even though the war has already been won, don't let that knock you off guard and lead you into complacency. There is an urgency to all of this, and we have a commandment to follow. Now, and this is very important, when you're out there, remember you're not fighting against flesh and blood, so don't get sidetracked or pulled into useless sparring matches. Stay the course. Since we fight differently than others, we'll be treated differently. Keep your eyes and ears open because we're being fired on from all directions. Be on the lookout, especially for spiritual and mental attacks. The enemy's ammunition is deceit, doubt, and fear, and it's launched strategically in the things we see, hear, and read. He is a wicked influencer, and he moves people to hurl vicious attacks on us, and he'll do everything he can to destroy the foundation of our faith and blind us so we don't help others. Stay bold. Stay true. Remain sober-minded. Hold closely the authentic word so you can spot the counterfeit immediately and demolish it. Don't fall for age-old tricks or sleight-of-hand misdirection. It's all fake and empty. Stand firm on the King's foundation. Go the distance. Fight the good fight. I know it's not easy, but now is not the time to run and hide. It's time to proclaim the truth and live by it. It's time to be ready and willing to boldly run forward with the gospel of peace as your inspiration. In one hand, you hold the impenetrable shield of faith, and in the other, the sword. Strike down arguments, ideas, and causes against the King. Be wise and make the most of every opportunity. And lastly, my friends, be prepared to answer people who genuinely want to know where your hope comes from in the midst of all this. They're in this war too, but they don't have the hope you do. Try to remember what that was like. Help them. Teach them the way. I wish I could have written about something entirely different. In fact, that's what I started out to do. But instead, my friends, I was compelled to urge you all